So, for anyone who's new to the seminars, they're basically big group discussion where people talk about Kha'Zix, have healthy discussion on what's good, what's viable, different playstyles in different situations, and only people who are master or higher get to speak. And if you have a question, you can be unmuted if you ping a moderator and then to ask your question. For anyone who's in chat, you can type in Kha'Zix discussion and ask a question, and we'll get to it around the end for the Q&A portion. And that's pretty much the seminar format. We'll just go through a list of topics. For today is everything for jungle Kha'Zix, so should be good.
And if you're in the stream and you'd like to ask a question, you can join the Discord server by just typing discord.gg/Kha'Zixmains.
Yeah. So today, Gamergirl's here, Challenger EU streamer, gamer. Zequilla, also streamer, high challenger right now in NA. Zutter's here. I think Zutter's here.
Yeah, me.
Hello. Tinjus, obviously, OCE #1. And then, unfortunately, we have Rapaki. So I think that's it.
Yes,
I think
very
that
high
covers
D2
it.
player, forehead.
Yeah. He was master 6 times in one day. It was very impressive. All on the same account. So, with that said, I guess we should start on runes since that's like very heated recently, especially with Conqueror and Dark Harvest and such. So I guess we can start on Conqueror. How much of it comes down to playstyle versus situational if you want to opt for Conqueror on Kha'Zix? Who wants to start? Someone who uses Conqueror? Gamergirl? Like what is your argument for Conqueror?
What are its
It's all
strengths
about
and-
matchups. It's not about playstyle or whatever. Like you can do same stuff
Sure.
you do as Electrocute.
So with Conqueror, what are some of the like matchups that are like the very clear indicators that you want to use Conqueror?
Basically melee matchups where you can sack Conqueror, like more tanky champions that don't have that much burst.
Mm-hmm.
I take it normally against melee bruisers and tanks.
Sure.
And it's better than the alternatives in those situations, like to a really significant degree.
Like basically you wanna go Conqueror in games where you wanna stay alive. You don't wanna like games where you don't have to do that much damage and you wanna be the DPS. So in games like this, I'd say Conqueror is really good in high-low because you don't get to snowball every game in high-low as an assassin because players are smarter, I'd say. Well, Season 9 is like, can't really count Season 9, but
Sure.
in general, like high-low players like are way smarter. They know how to play around vision and they know how to track the enemy jungler perfectly. So you won't be able to get that many free kills, especially when you're playing against Jarvan, Lee Sin, and Elise every game. It's you need something to like stay alive. And I'd say Conqueror is like good only with R first or Qable first.
Mm-hmm.
I started like playing Arvo first with Conqueror. It's really good into like Elise matchup or like just the whole setup and the whole playstyle with R into W with Conqueror. It's all about you being annoying in the fights. Like you don't one shot people, but you still have the damage to like one shot an ADC, but it's just for you to stay there and just to DPS and just to engage, and you know how annoying W Wolf is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you say your build changes a lot when you go for Conqueror?
For Conqueror, you don't need any lethality in my opinion. You want to go stuff like Black Cleaver, Hex Drinker, GA.
Mm-hmm.
That's my typical setup.
Would you still build lethality just if you're ahead as a luxury?
If I'm really ahead, but I don't think you need this blade. I'd say you go for Ghost Blade. Since if you're ahead on Conqueror, like the game's literally over. Like they can't do anything. Like if Kha'Zix is ahead and Conqueror is way better Keystone than Electrocute when ahead,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it doesn't matter what you build at this point.
Sure. What's to close on Conqueror, just to wrap up before we move on to another, what's something that you give up when you go for Conqueror? Like something that you're missing in the early game or later
Early
on?
game, basically, gank potential. Like you lack damage, but you win extended fights. You win pretty much every river fight.
Mm-hmm.
Early Scuttles contests and stuff like that. You win every 2v2 as well. Pretty much, depending on your mid laner, of course, or like your laner.
Sure.
And Kha'Zix still sucks at ganking bot lane, by the way.
True. Did anyone want to add anything that wasn't touched on for Conqueror, Tinjus, or anyone?
Yeah, I think
I just say
no
take
matter-
it when you're gonna lose. Like if you see the enemy team and you're like, oh fuck, this is gonna be rough. Just go conquer.
All right.
yeah,
What Tinjus?
yeah, well, pretty much what Rob said. I think no matter like what composition you're up against, I think Conqueror is just such a well-rounded rune. You can pretty much take into everything. Obviously, it's not like other keystones are optimal in different situations, but I think like it's just like it's so good when you have to deal with the big threat melee champs. Lets you stay alive, lets you shut them down, and you know it's just. I think it's just generally well-rounded. Let's be more diverse as well, because I feel like as Gamergirl said, you don't need lethality as much, because you're getting the true damage, the adaptive stacks, which is really good. It just gives you so much constant DPS.
Mm-hmm.
No one's touched on the fact either that normally, in the normal situation, if you're playing Kha'Zix correctly, and you're going in for an actual assassination in a game, Electru won't make that big of a difference. If you're playing Kha'Zix correctly, and you're comboing correctly, and you're going in at the right timing, the extra burst that something like Electru will give you won't really, it's usually overkill compared to Conqueror, which is more consistently always good in a fight.
Electrocute, it's like it might help you get that really clean ass one shot, but most kills, if they have like armor and stuff, unless you're insanely ahead, it usually takes at least 2 Qs or like 2 rotations to grab a kill if they have armor. So like Conqueror is just there and you get more out of it.
Electro
Definitely.
sucks anyway.
I think Electra's just boring for people. Also, hello Max, welcome.
Hello.
And Saber, Autolock Saber's here too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Saber, do you use Conqueror at all?
Yeah, sometimes. Only versus like teamfight heavily teams. Like if you fight teamfight that's like extended, then you take Conqueror. Or like if you're versus Rani or Nunu, like those matchups, you take Conqueror as well. Pretty much it.
Sure. Does anyone else have anything Conquer before we move to like a different thing? We covered like pretty much most of Conquer. Are there any matchups where Conquer is just like awful?
I wouldn't say it's awful like in any situation.
Okay. At what point is Conquer the strongest in the game? Is it early on? Is it after you get a few items? Like when is it the most
Spikes
strongest?
it like, let's say when you get an item. Like you just need to build some HP just to not get one shot. Because it takes time to stack it. But still, like, it just has such a solid keystone.
I feel like it's really broken in the early game, and then it's really broken later in the game. And I feel like somewhere in like the early mid, it like kind of falls off a little bit. It just feels like less noticeable. Maybe because the fights aren't as extended at that point, like they are early and late. But
True.
And if you go Conqueror, you can skip Lord Dominic's or like this
Really?
item.
You
Yeah,
skip
that's
Lord
actually
Yeah,
nice.
you don't really need it because
It's a
you
good card, I think.
Would you still go Mortal Reminder in cases where you need the healing?
yeah, but I'd probably build it last. I'll get the executioners first.
Mm-hmm.
And then just sit on it.
Yeah, sit on it until I get my core items. Like Kha'Zix, like when you go Conquer Kha'Zix, it's all about you building survival items. Because you wanna take like, because Conqueror lets you absorb so much damage. Because you get Ravenous Hunter as well, so you get increased healing and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not that you can't build lethality though. It's just that you don't actually need it. Okay.
definitely. I think we pretty much said everything we need to say on Conquer. It's pretty decent. It's never really bad. Just depends on the matchups, and it's always solid. I think we can move on to like some of the other less common keystones, because I don't think there's too much to say on Electrocute right off the bat. We can touch on that at the end. Let's start with Zequilla, as someone who doesn't use Conquer, mostly Electro or Dark Harvest. What is your what is like your personal take on keystones with Kha'Zix? Why do you opt for only ever using Electro Dark Harvest?
Well, to be honest, I think if you could just one-shot the enemy AD carry, the fight's just over. And I think the way I play Kha'Zix, at least, it just best suits my play style. Because I don't play a lot of champions that ever like take Conquer, so I just prefer to just go full lethality and just fucking just go crazy on the back line.
It depends on your personal playstyle as well.
I agree. And that's why I don't take Conquer, because, like, I don't know, I just like to dive the back line, you know? I like to take Q Evolve, I like to take E Evolve, and I just like to get resets and just go crazy.
Sure.
But, I wish Dark Harvest wasn't like so bad early game, because I like the feel of it. Like, I've taken it here and there, and sometimes it comes back and bites me in my ass, obviously, because it's just so dog early compared to Electrocute or Conquer. So
it's really not.
I feel like it's pretty bad early game, early duels.
If you go Scorch, it's so good.
I mean,
you literally
Scorch?
just cover all of the damage that you're missing by going Dark Harvest in the early game, and then power right through.
So you think
Scorch literally does the same damage as Sudden Impact, like maybe 80% of my games. So, and if you're saying Scorch is bad, then you're saying Sudden Impact is also bad. Why don't you just go Cheap Shot or Taste for Blood?
Water Walking and Gathering Storm, dude.
Water Walking,
Way
what are you
better
gonna have? Water Walking you have on for what, like 3 minutes during the game,
Movement
maybe?
speed.
Who cares about the movement speed? Buy some fucking boots, dude.
Play around the map, dude.
I mean, you won't have enough gold for boots at like level 3. So
Sure,
it's
you will. Just do Red Krugs back for boots if you want move speed.
Alright.
I've never taken Scorch, so I can't really.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Water Walking is like the biggest meme rune. Like, you might as well just go Gathering. That movement speed is not gonna help you. It's literally 20 fucking move speed. Like, what? It's like literally nothing.
Mm.
Like,
We can touch on more of the minor runes in a bit. We can just stick to keystones for a little while. Is someone here like a heavy Dark Harvest user that wants to like provide a compelling argument for Dark Harvest?
Yes.
Hello.
I do like. Oh, who was that?
Rob Hockey.
I go for it.
Well, I literally just said it. That's what makes Dark Harvest
Alright.
good.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I do think Dark Harvest is like fairly good. I don't know.
I don't know, like
I don't think it's that bad early. Like when you get.
It's good. I mean, I'd say it's good if your build is gonna be full.
I mean, like, what is Electrocute's damage early? It's like.
30.
Yeah,
30
it's
damage.
not much at all.
Dark
Yeah.
Harvest is 20 damage, so you go Scorch to compensate for the damage loss. Then you get electric.
Really
You
not that
actually
big of a
do.
difference.
You actually do more than Electrocute at that point.
Hmm.
I think
And-
because of the way Car's damage works, and the fact that you usually need more than one Q most of the time.
When you say because of how Kha'Zix damages work, what do you
So-
mean exactly?
It means, I mean, like, when you jump in, you combo someone, maybe they don't die to your entire combo. You usually have to go for another Q. Most of the time.
That's a cleaver.
So I just want to touch on something. Is actually like incorrect statistics. So yeah, Dark Harvest does 20 damage and Electrocute does 30, but Electrocute's like ratio is actually bigger. Its ratio is 0.4 bonus AD, while Dark Harvest is 0.25. So even though it's a 10 damage difference, it's actually more than 10. Just wanted to correct that statistic.
Sure.
Probably like 13 or
Okay,
14,
nice.
something like that.
Okay.
Yes, I think early game the difference isn't too bad. Considering you don't have AD to begin with, so Electrocute's scaling isn't going to be that effective. But yeah, I think both rune options are kind of just preference.
Okay.
Electrocute will, in the end, will let you do like more damage to a single target, and then Dark Harvest can give you, well, obviously the damage to like kill multiple enemies, It just give you that extra boost for like
What's
resetting.
If I can just ask like a side question, what's the ideal amount of stacks that you look for around like level 11, around like 15-20 minutes?
I can't answer that honestly because I don't really pay attention to the stacks.
Yeah, I've never paid attention to that either.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's like 8 stacks.
Yeah, I'd say like 8 to 10,
8.
probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how much is fighting.
You really shouldn't pay attention to that, or you're gonna just run into the fucking kindreditis where you're worried about fucking getting stacks instead of just playing the game properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get up to like.
Yeah, like it's nice if you can just go into lane and W for a free stack if someone's low, but aside from that, you don't really look for stacks. So in terms of Dark Harvest, would you guys say there's like a better evolve path? Like does E become a higher priority because you can chain resets and with Dark Harvest, or what is your take on
I'd
that?
say W is a higher priority, honestly, because you're able to. With Dark Harvest, I think of poke. You're able to get more Dark Harvest stacks from farther range in a safer way with your W poke. So having W evolve accelerates that in a way.
That's true.
I don't think it really matters at all.
Well, it depends.
I think if you're going W evolve and you're not going Conqueror, you're just fucking trolling. Honestly.
Nah.
Like, why bother playing with any other rune at that point if you're going W evolve?
What do you do you guys always evolve Q first when you go Dark Harvest, or is it just not? Does it just style on your situation?
I've actually been trying A first with Dark Harvest.
Oh my fucking god.
No.
Kill me. Just fucking kill me.
No,
what?
It was going so well. The seminar was going.
No, I won't go into it now. But it's generally just Q.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, I think R is actually good. I agree with that.
R
I think R
is
could
so
be good
good.
second situationally.
Yeah, R is just mainly situated.
I thought R was really broken because I won like 6 games in a row with R, and then I lost 6 in a row with R, and I was like, alright, this feels like crap now. I don't know.
It's shit when you're evolved when you're behind. You can't really do anything. Like R is like for pure snowball. Like Q is just way more stable.
I will say when you're
Like,
ahead with
if you're-
TH, it feels like the stupidest thing ever. Like you just run over everyone, and there's nothing they could do, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I think Chaos as well goes QR when he plays Kha'Zix. But we'll get more into evolutions. Did anyone have any closing thoughts on Dark Harvest and that we didn't touch on?
Just stop saying the rune's dead. Just because it got nerfed doesn't mean respect.
I actually take it like every time. I don't take electric now. I don't know why.
I don't think anybody should take
I just like the reset,
that rune
to be
sucks.
honest.
Electric is just so mediocre. Personally.
I think it's so bad.
Yeah. Well,
Unless you're playing like mid lane.
what's the biggest factor you give up when you take Dark Harvest? Is it just if you can't get stacks, if there's no gankable lanes, or what is the biggest thing you're losing?
A guaranteed win, probably.
Alright,
It's a big trade-off.
fair enough. I think we can move on. Electrocute. There's not too much to be said, but does anyone have any reason why Electrocute is like the standard? Like, what is the reasoning that everyone looks at Kha'Zix and says Electrocute is the go-to?
Because it's so easy to pro.
I think it's just
And it's just like
it's better for
reliable.
One of
Yeah,
his
no,
most.
I think if you can get a good early game with Electrocute, it doesn't matter what rune you have in the end. If you're ahead early game, you just win.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is like only issue is early game pretty much. And if you like get ahead early game, game's over. Like there's no way you lose game on Kha'Zix when you're ahead early game. It doesn't matter what you. Like the only way you lose is if someone rage quits or I don't know.
Yeah.
Just team really boost or whatever. But normally like in Hilo, like if you want to play Electrocute because you want to gank in Hilo more. Because if you don't gank in Hilo, you just lose. Like you can't AFK farm in Hilo, and yeah. That's why I have like problems like playing Kha'Zix in Hilo. I'd say like Jarvan's better, but we're talking about Kha'Zix right now. But yeah, Kha'Zix just struggles a lot. He gets punished too easy if you don't have like pressure on lanes.
If you don't have solo laners, you just lose.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is too like solo lane dependent.
He's
like,
really
bot lane
reliant
is-
on prio.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, sure, you can like give up all the scuttles, but if you lose your like blue buff or red buff or like second buff, or you just get killed one time in the early game, it's just over for you.
It feels like if you just cycle your Krugs and Raptors well enough, you'll be fine. You ward as much as you can to avoid getting invaded, and if you do get invaded, you invade on the opposite side of the map to the best of your ability, and you'll be fine. XP is all that really matters, because the second Kha'Zix is level 6, he's finally a champion who could fight other early game junglers.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they have leads over him. As many times you could be like 0-0 as Kha'Zix, and the enemy jungler is 2-0, but second you get R evolve, your R level 6, you're able to actually duel them or fight them in their own jungle most of the time, depending on who they are.
Sure. In terms of like relevance throughout the game, what do you guys think is the most relevant electrocutes damages? Is it later on? Does it scale well through the late game? Is it just good for mid game gank skirmishes?
It's just good
Anyone
for
wants to
ganking.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to say like early game securing
Yeah.
kills, but I don't really run it that much.
I really don't feel like it actually feels that much better than Dark Harvest at any point in the game,
Yeah. Sure.
or even Conqueror. Honestly, I feel like
agree.
I would much rather just go Conqueror than Electrocute. It just feels so bad.
Mm-hmm. Any closing thoughts on like electrocute safe option?
I would consider trying out Dark Harvest and seeing how
Okay.
you like it compared to Electrocute.
Sure.
But, I mean, if it's working for you, then go for it, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good. For electrocutes, I guess we can move on to. Just keeping in mind like all we touched on for the runes, in terms of the first evolution, when you guys are reaching level 6, do you think Q is always a good option? Like, is Q ever a bad option to evolve first? What do you say?
It's never a bad option, but I don't think it's always the best option, not nearly.
Yeah, sometimes I
Yeah,
don't think
sure.
it's as useful as people think.
Sometimes you don't need that damage.
Yeah.
Like you don't need not damage, but you don't need skirmish potential.
A lot
'Cause
of the
if,
time-
if nothing's happening early game, like our evolve might be way better.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, like you don't secure like objectives that fast. They do with Q evolve, but I don't know. I'd say Q evolve is good for like new players to Kha'Zix. Like it's really safe. It's like the safe option. If you don't know what to evolve, just evolve Q.
Yeah,
I think everyone knows that with Q evolve you kill objectives faster than any other evolve in the game. But if you're like a really experienced Kha'Zix player, I think when it comes to team fighting in high elo, R evolve is just superior. And then once you win the team fight, you're able to get these objectives easier with the team than doing it solo, like seeking a dragon over the wall, something like that. Just a superior team fight rune in high elo.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that in a lot of scenarios, utility from other evolutions is just far superior to Q.
Yeah.
Plus stealth
of
is-
course, like it depends, obviously, but yeah.
The
Sure.
only problem with R is I feel like you seriously risk like if it doesn't work out, like there's no coming back from that. Like at least with Q, like if you make like one bad play, you could just farm back into it because you'll be farming fast. You could still fight the enemy jungler, but like with R, I feel like if you make a mistake or you make a bad gank, it's like fucking over for you because
Yeah, you
That-
have
that
to be
was, like-
sure.
Unless
Be
you're
sure
running.
that you can run.
It's
Really
really hard to
Conqueror,
make
and
a
it
bad
just
gank with R
fucking-
evolve. With R evolve and Nimbus Cloak, you just R into a lane, and
Oh,
it's really
Lord.
hard to execute a gank. You just always, unless it's you get counter ganked, but that's just your fault by not knowing with enemy junglers. That's not Kha'Zix's fault.
Sure.
not the Nimbus cloak.
No, don't hate on the Nimbus cloak. It doesn't have to deal damage to be good.
Yes, it does.
It does deal damage if you use it correctly, really.
Yeah, that's
in a way.
crazy because I don't see a stat on that. It says
Alright.
something about move speed. I don't see any AD on there.
I
Alright.
mean, Nimbus could be good, but it's
I
like,
mean,
I've
shit,
seen
bro. Guardian could be good. Doesn't mean you should.
I know Chaos is running Transcendence. Is that off the table as an option?
I mean,
I
that
think
whole
it's really
fucking
good, actually.
that whole tier is fucking awful. So I think Transcendence could be fine. I think it has the same problem that Gathering has, where you don't have a rune for what you need to get level 10. So what is that? 14 minutes? 13 minutes? So you play the game roomless for a little bit. I mean, it's just up to you at that point if you're trying to scale, or if you would like to be a champion before that time.
Most Kha'Zix just farm until level 6, so it's when you say rune, you don't have a rune for the first 14 minutes. Really, no matter what rune you take, you don't have a rune for the first 6 minutes, because every Kha'Zix usually just farms.
Well, I mean, if you have absolute focus, then it's increasing your farm speed, because it's giving you AD, so it's not true.
It's like 380, right? 4 maybe?
It's one less auto for your wolves and stuff like that.
It adds up.
There is one.
I mean, by the time you get Transcendence, you've already had a free longsword for most of the game.
Gamergirl.
Can I add something about the scaling on Kha'Zix? Yeah, I'd say you don't wanna the only way I'd say I don't know. Scaling on Kha'Zix is basically dependent if the enemy team wants to scale as well. Like if you're playing against full on like face roll champions like fucking Kled, Lee Sin, Tawon mid and stuff like that, I don't think you'll be allowed to farm in like a reasonable elo. Like I don't think you can afford going for scaling when you're playing Kha'Zix against Lee Sin or Elise or something that's just gonna pressure them up all early game. You need to match this, otherwise you just get completely.
That's why you take water wall.
That's why you take Conqueror. I think that's the great thing about Conqueror is there's not one single rune in the whole thing that is like not good. Like it's all just like amazing.
In the precision tree.
In both of those trees, I mean, your secondary, you're running Sudden Impact and Ravenous. Those are just by far the best. And in the precision, you get 4 runes that you're going to use the whole game and that are always good.
If we can touch on one other minor rune that people are asking about, as someone who uses it a bit frequently, from what I've seen, Zequilla, do you think Nullifying Orb is good situationally against AP junglers or
situationally into like 4 AP champs, but like against like Karthus and then like 3 other AP champs, but at that point I stopped taking it honestly because it just feels like it didn't do much against those champions because they just kill you anyway. I'm a firm believer that AP junglers are just like their jungle item is just overtuned. It's not the champion themselves, it's the jungle item. It's too strong.
The item is fucking cheap.
Yeah, cheap. It gives 80 AP, 10% CDR, and it gives a Luden's Echo proc. Like, it's just overtuned in my opinion. So, honestly, what I do is I just build full lethality, and I just try to kill them before they kill me. That's basically what I do.
My setup for like when I'm facing like AP jungler, I literally go magic resist runes. I go Nullifying Orb, and first thing I build is like either Mercs or like Hex Drinker because I need to make sure I stay alive. But again, I go full lethality when I'm like playing against squishy AP. Where, I don't know, like Evelyn is like when you're facing like something like Evelyn Karthus, if you invade them once and you kill them early, like it's over pretty much for them. But again, this is Evelyn and it skills so good and Karthus as well. I don't know, I haven't seen many Karthuses or Evelyns.
Yeah.
Shit, they're all over the place in MA. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, normally, like, if someone picks, like, Evelyn, it's just super free if you punish her. Probably. I don't know. It's all. I think the jungle right now is just all about, like, whoever has the better mid laner or, like, soul laners. Not even better, just give me priority. Just fucking push your lane so I can do my thing.
Yeah. They just need to move. That's all.
But everyone's like want to scale. Everyone wants to scale, and you can't really scale with the scaling jungler as well. Like they're forcing me to play something early game, and I spoon feed them, and it's like, yeah, dude, carry me now. Like I don't enjoy that playstyle.
You play in EU too, so you get casted in mid like every fucking game.
Yeah, it's so bad.
I want to be Yamato's death, forehead. Gets fucking shit kicked in.
We can go back on evolutions a bit away from the runes. In terms of like variety, if I can add Sutter, if you're still here, what is your take on like evolving the same thing every game? Do you change your evolve pass up depending on the game, or do you think it's fine to use the same pass?
I think it's fine to go the same evolution path, but then I think it's better to like adapt to situations. And then I usually find myself playing Arbuff into squishier teams, or if I'm trying to gank more, and then Q if I'm like I don't know. Sometimes if there's like like if I want to play for an Inferno Drag or something, maybe I evolve Q, but not always.
Mhm.
Or into like some specific matchups where I want to skirmish maybe. But that's my take on it.
Do you usually depend on or evolve differently depending on if you're ahead or if you're behind, like throughout the game?
I usually do it based on
Or just like the comps and stuff, the
Like-
matchups?
matchups usually or comps.
Okay.
When did everyone get so smart? I love this. Besides whoever
Sure.
suggested phase rush or not phase rush, the fucking move speed shit. Fucking lost there. And Tinjus with the Evo.
Yeah, it was
Everyone
going
else is
really
doing
well.
great though. Everyone else is going great. I love it.
So,
But
sure.
I find myself usually first evolutions are always QR.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, you can go W, like, I don't think, like, anyone actually goes E. Like, I think he was joking, but... W could be also good if you're, like, 0-3 in 3 minutes, I'd say. Like, when you're really, really behind. And you're like literally like a slow dummy.
Does anyone here do the same evolves every game? Like, not that it's a bad thing, but what is your like reasoning? Do you think you get a lot out of being more comfortable with the same Evo pass, or does anyone usually take the same thing?
I'd say like 99% of my games I go R into W evolve. I go R into E evolve. The other 1% when I'm like 10-0 when I get level 11, then you just snowball off E. But I don't know. Ever since like 3 months ago, I've just been such a diehard R evolve level 6 fan. I just can't get rid of it. It's such it just fits my playstyle completely because you have the exact same or really similar amount of burst compared to Q evolve, but you're so annoying to play against, and I feel like you could 1v1 almost any champion in the game if you have even XP as them with R evolve because of your passive hits, with the extra passive hits you get, and just being annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like whenever I go R evolve first, I don't have that level lead that I have when I go Q evolve. Like, invading is like way riskier in my opinion when you go R evolve, and like just dueling and stuff and just farming is just way slower. So that's why when I'm like R evolve, I'm like 5-0. Enemy jungler is like 0-2 or something like that, but he's my level. So this means that if I do one mistake, I die and I lose my entire lead. Because like, let's be real, like this patch or like this season is all about like having level leads and like just being huge.
When you go R evolve, it's so much harder to make that mistake because with the 3 invis, this last 6 seconds, you're able to just, especially if you take Nimbus Cloak, you're able to be so more mobile, and it's so hard to catch you. It's actually impossible. It's like you can make a mistake, but even if you make a mistake, it's half the time you could do like an R juke with the extra movement speed, and you could just recover it and not actually die from it because of just how mobile you are. 6 seconds of invis plus the like 430 movement speed with Nimbus Cloak. It's really hard to mess up. Especially if you go early boots.
Being mobile doesn't do anything for you. All it helps you do is get out. You want to push your lead. If you're invading, you want to kill the enemy jungler. If you're invading with R evo and he sees you, he probably kills you, or you just get away, right? But if he sees you with Q evo, he's dead 100% every time.
That's why I'd say R evolve is more of a team fight than invading and pushing your lead. When I go R evolve, I try to force dragon fights, force 3v3, 4v4 bots, force 3v3 tops. Just a team fight, skirmishes as much as possible. It's about pushing your lead with your team, not pushing it by yourself.
Sure, definitely different take. If I can direct a question to Tinjus about E evolve, since you're a very large advocate of it, as you said earlier, do you think E evolve is as bad as people say? Like, is it just
absolutely not? No, I think E evolve is. I don't know what happened to make E evolve like receive so much criticism, but like. I don't think.
Are we just talking about first, or are we talking
in general? In general.
Oh, I still go E second every time. If I go
I'm talking about E like just in general. Not. Oh, I won't touch on first right now. But like you can't define E by simply just resets. Like E, like the increased range is really underrated for doing a lot of things in the game. I found that what I could do with E, I couldn't do with other evolutions, just because of the increased lead range. So yeah, I don't know what the hell people are smoking when they say E is bad.
Yeah, I go E maybe like half the games.
It's so integral for Kha'Zix to be
The
able
only
to
time
like
I don't go E is
in
with
and
Conqueror.
out.
Sure.
Yeah, you can like not go E and you'll be fine, but E just enables you so much.
Yeah.
Do you think E is like better if you're ahead, or can you still take it if you're even? Or
Oh yeah, it's better if you're ahead because you can assassinate effectively. But
Would you say
I
E
think-
evolve is better for disengaging or engaging? Sorry to cut you off. Like the advantage of it.
I do think it's better for engaging. I mean, you do have that increased lead range, so you can disengage more effectively. But yeah, if you have a lead and you can actually kill people, obviously you're going to be jumping over everyone and just getting more out of the things that you can actually do with yourselves.
sure.
Like, I'm sure everyone's had this scenario, but you know, maybe you see like a good gank, and then enemy reacts fast, and they start walking back quickly, and then like you're out of range for your jump to actually get to them, and that's where I feel like E is super nice there. That's what I've been having recently.
I think it's good for diving bot lane too. What the fuck are you gonna do in a dive with R?
Yeah.
Shit's turbo useless.
So consensus is E's not objectively bad.
To call it bad is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're a meta slave. You're a meta slave if you think E is bad. Jesus Christ. Like, I think evolutions are just so diverse now.
I agree.
Obviously, it's like, no one's going to be able to adapt perfectly to each game. I mean, if you can, then good for you. But I don't know if it's just me, but I'm sure people have preferences when it comes to evolutions, and they can, like, you're not going to be able to perform equally well with each type of evolution order. Like, so just there's a lot of preference that comes into it.
You're supposed to be
As well as
covering
a bit.
one area with each evolution, so obviously
Yeah.
you can't cover everything. You only have 2 or 3 choices. Most of the time,
Yeah.
just 2.
Yeah, like you're gonna make wrong decisions about adapting in a game, and that's fine. So like, I would just stress play what works for you.
What I will say though is that I think if your evolution should be based off like your team, the enemy team, and how you play, not versus like whether you're ahead or behind. Because I feel like if you're changing your evolution because you're behind, it's probably already over.
True.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Say you're like behind and you're versing like 5 squishies. It doesn't mean oh shit.
Oh. They're
You
attacking.
just got bombed.
Say you're versing 5 squishies, you don't have to evolve like W versus A and go play, because you still have assassination potential. You can still go like the aggressive evolutions with like E, Q, and R and stuff.
Max, did
I
you
would
have
say,
something to say in response to what Rob said before? you
Yeah,
get
when
to
Rob said that you don't think that you should change your evolve pattern towards if you're ahead or behind, I agree with the behind part, but with the head, as I said, I go R into W the majority of my games, but if I'm like 10-0 at level 11, I would go R into E, because I feel like with E, you're able to snowball so much more, and I'm not doing that because of the enemy comp or my comp, I'm doing that because of my ability, because I'm ahead, so it's, you know.
Sure.
I mean, I'd say W it's way better than E. Like 95%.
I think if you have R there,
It's all about team fighting in mid game, because you normally get to 11 around the mid game, like 15 or like 15 to 20 minutes, level 11, and like in like games where people know what to do, like nobody's like gonna go and maybe, I mean, there should be like cases where someone just goes silent randomly and you can, yeah, sure, I can pick that guy up, but if you're like Q and evolution second, it's like way harder for you to find stuff in like team fights, unless you have engage, of course. But if you're like lacking engage, it's like, yeah dude, why not play W and just play it slow, because W allows you to do so much stuff, and evolve is only sure you can like engage, disengage, you can like assassinate stuff, jump in, jump out, but W is just overall way better for like you can do like so much stuff with W, like poke, just chase, you can like disengage, you can.
I mean, it's just easier.
Just start fights. Yeah, and it's
that's what it comes down to. It's just W is just easier and safe. Like when you play E Evolve, your whole like I mean you're playing an assassin, right? Like I mean that's what you do with the Evolve, or you're playing for ganks. But that all plays around like you capitalizing on the enemy making a mistake, and if they don't make a mistake, then you probably have to force it, and you'll probably die. Maybe it's a bad play, but with W, you're not like forcing anything. And you're not like looking for them to make a mistake. You're just fucking throwing it out and slowing everything.
For sure.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
About third evolution. Does it really matter where you go third evolution? Is it that dependent? Because in my opinion, like and it's game changing. Like level 16's evolution, it shouldn't be anything that's game changing.
I think it is if you're going QE. It's like. If you're going QE with full lethality, it is game changing when you hit level 16 because now you have W. Now you're really fucking on kill. Like the game is over now.
Now you have utility and kill pressure.
Yeah. Now you got the whole fucking.
I think he meant does it matter what you choose if you go W or R?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
I don't fucking know. That just sounds like fucking ass.
What do you think? What do you think, Tinjus?
I think at level 16, if you don't have W, you should decide whether or not you actually need W. If you don't need it, then obviously evolve something else, but I think if it's a tough game, W for sure, like 16, if you don't have it already. Otherwise, I'd say it to just, at level 16, evolve based on the kind of style you're going for on car already. Like, say you go QR, and you're playing really assassin heavy, go E. I wouldn't go W though.
Sure.
I wanted to touch on something about the risk of evolve. Like obviously it's fairly risky if you don't make use of it properly. That's why I actually decided to trial evolving it first. Because then at level 11, you have like so many choices as to what you want to evolve. Like you can take anything situationally, Q, W, or R. So like having either means you can pretty much choose anything later on into the game. That's one of the reasons I had in mind.
Sure.
I respect that.
So
like
when I said
E into W, for example, like that's fucking strong. That's a really strong combination for like coordinating team fights.
It's called. So I keep hearing people say like going E could be risky or not, and what I meant when I said that level 11 like play R into E, right? When I'm like really hit, let's say like 10-0, I like trust me, I know W evolve is really good. It's vital in teamfight Kha'Zix playstyle. But when I meant like if you're 10-0, at that point you're always going to be useful. At some point you're always able to one shot squishy no matter what, even in a teamfight situation. If you're like 10-0, like really fed. And when you guys say like E's risky, I meant like in my head I think E's the opposite of risky because I don't use E to engage as our evolve Kha'Zix. I use R to engage, and then E's like a super escape plan if I really need to run away. And R won't work because they have like sweeper. E would just get me out of there as fast as possible. So when I think of E evolve secondary, I think of it being anti-risk, not more risky. If you're like really snowballing, is my point.
Yeah, I think I exaggerated the risk thing. I agree with Max. Yeah, it's not as risky as people say.
I thought you meant when you said risky, you meant like if you're not getting any use out of it, you basically just blew fucking 6 levels or 5 levels.
Essentially, yeah. That's why E at level 11 can be so risky. But if you evolve it early on, you still have the flexibility to adapt to the game state. That's kind of the reasoning I have for E first.
Sure. If I can ask like a follow-up to what Gamergirl said at the beginning, we spent a lot of time on E-Evolve, but in regards to R-Evolve, we covered the strengths of it being like a huge impact for the early game. But let's say you're level 16 and one of your options is R-Evolve. do you think it's still like? What do you get out of evolving it at 16? Is it still as good? Is it still going to be as potent to the late game instead of having it early?
You get a lot of flexibility in enhanced, like extended fights, as well as just like assassinating in general, because you have 3 ult charges and they last for 2 seconds. So,
because people make the argument that maybe R at 16 isn't going to be as valuable as R at level 6 in terms of impact in the game.
It depends. Like,
Yeah,
if you are like team fighting heavily, then yeah, obviously W. There are specific scenarios though where R can be good at 16. Like when you can actually just obliterate enemy team in one hit, for example.
I think
pretty safe to go
I
down.
think R is pretty good into team fights late game too. Like in my mind, there's no way you die in a team fight with R evolve unless you like legit like spaz out and like I don't know, you just get hit by like all the CC in the game. Like it's just so safe. It allows you to like reposition and get the jump on somebody, or it allows you to get out safely. I think it's pretty good at 16.
Sure.
I think if you're going like full assassin with QE and you're just like looking for those picks, R evolve definitely could be good at level 16. Like usually when like the game's over and you're at their nexus, that's usually like a good spot. Because W is just insanely better. Like every fucking time. I feel like it's like I don't, at least with assassin. Like if you have Conqueror or whatever for extended fights, then yeah, I could definitely see R being good. But like I feel like it's total fucking trash. Because you're an assassin, you don't want an extended fight in the late game. If you didn't kill them, you probably just lose, so you better slow everything.
Yeah, I'd say with that playstyle, I agree. R at that point, if you take R level 16, it's literally just 3 more seconds of not getting hit by the AD carry, nothing else. That's only if it's for that specific playstyle, nothing.
We have another new guest, Blue SC. Are you here? I was gonna ask you like what your take on R evolve later on in the game was.
Oh, you want it now?
Yeah, just like what is your take on if R is like still valuable if you evolve it later on instead of at 6?
I mean, I think R evolve is good if you're like really looking. I don't know, if you don't need either like W or E evolve, I guess, but that's like super rare.
That's fair.
I just wanna say something to OG Kha'Zix main. It's so weird when you see level 16 Kha'Zix without evolve T. It's just what do you do?
I agree.
just go and play fucking Echo, honestly. Like
Conqueror Echo jungle is insane.
Oh god, yeah, we'll get into some of the more matchups later on. It's gonna be dudes. Yeah. I think we pretty much wrapped up evolutions. I was gonna go into itemization. If anyone had any like last closing thoughts on evolutions before we move off.
They're all really balanced. Just
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, they should honestly like nerf W slow a little bit, so Kha'Zix is not like permabanned.
That's an argument.
You should nerf
Just
the W evolve for sure.
Definitely.
I mean, if you guys just all went full assassin QE like me, then the ban rate would go down because the win rate would go down.
Sure, excellent.
Sure.
R evolve's underrated.
I think it's a community problem now.
R evolve's underrated because people like Rob Hockey.
Yeah, that's one take.
That's a fact.
Alright.
I said it was good at level 11.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
When you feel like you want to coin flip the game.
Okay. Itemization. Just like to open up with, since Dustblade is kind of brought up a lot now, does anyone have any strong opinions on if it's ever okay to skip Dustblade as like a first core item?
Yes.
After Warrior?
Yeah, if you Conquer.
Black Cleaver.
Is it just for Conquer?
Black Cleaver is just so good.
I feel like it's still good with Conqueror. I don't know. I mean, when I go Conqueror, I still go Dustblade after Warrior. I really don't care.
Yeah, like, Dustblade's completely fine. Still, nothing's changed, other than Cleaver has gotten more popular because of the Conqueror playstyle.
I definitely think Dustblade's good, but I'm a very firm believer of Youmuu's after Warrior. Because as I said before multiple times already, I'm like a diehard like R-Evolve level 6 player with Nimbus Cloak. So I feel like the mobility that Nimbus Cloak and Youmuu's gives you at level 6, you're able to invis through the entire team with the 500 movement speed from Youmuu's and Nimbus Cloak, and get to the backline when normally, as with Q Evolve or just E Evolve, you're never able to actually get in the backline. But with R Evolve, you literally can invis through the entire team, especially with Youmuu's as your first item past Warrior.
Definitely viable.
Yeah, that's something Rengar used to do all the time. I think they might still do it.
So aside from skipping Dustblade to go Cleaver, and Youmuu's, are there other options that you would ever skip Dustblade to pick up as your first core?
If you're against like full AP, Hexdrinker's pretty good.
Yeah, you can go Hexdrinker, I guess, if you don't know how to dodge.
I know. Yeah. I know one that's instantly gonna trigger people as soon as they say it, but Tiamat, is that one of the options?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Fuck no.
That's not an option on Assassin Ka, Dueling Ka, Conqueror Ka, Guardian Ka, any
It is on Lane Ka.
No.
That's about it.
I was actually curious if any Ka players here like Tiamat on Kha'Zix.
I like it, but
in the jungle?
Build it.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Shit, everyone likes it. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't like it.
Everyone loves the item.
Let me rephrase.
Like winning.
Anyone that actually builds the item.
No, I'd say the only way Tiamat is good if you rush it, either if you back on the gold for a Tiamat, or if you're running futures market. I'd say that.
The part, like buying the parts is not worth it.
True.
Feels so sad spending $13.25 for 2 long swords.
Do any of you ever start Rejuvenate instead of Refill then for it?
I've heard of that recently.
I did trial that a while back. It's actually pretty good. You don't need the 2 pots for clearing at all. I mean, they're helpful later on when you're fighting and stuff.
I feel like that takes away.
Yeah, like how do you?
If you want to go Tiamat, then I think it's a pretty good. Otherwise, like, no, it's not really worth it.
I feel like you can't start top ever then, though. If you're going Rejuve, you're just gonna get fucked, right?
Are you talking about like with Machete or Talisman?
Well, with Talisman, you can't go.
No, you're fine.
Really?
Do you mean like?
I feel like you totally get ass rapes. Maybe you need a good leash or something, or do you got a good leash?
Generally, you can heal up on the bottom side camps.
Anyone here starting blue on Kha'Zix, like ever?
I mean, I never do it. But...
I not anymore. I used to think it was so good, but
Krug's Wraith Kingdom.
Yeah, true.
Before we get too off of Tiamat, someone wanted to add one thing on Tiamat before we move. Cyber Zero, are you there?
I'm here. You hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
If you get ahead like super early, I mean, at this point you could probably go with anything, but I like to go Tiamat just so I can just burst someone down with the active like really, really fast and farm really, really fast to just push that lead as hard as possible.
Are you talking about before Warrior or after Warrior?
But like, if sometimes before Warrior, but that'd be like super ahead, like 2 kills before first back, something weird like that. That never happens.
That's super ahead for you?
I mean, 2 kills before first back, man. I'm like silver. Like, I'm bad.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Understandable. Was that all you wanted to say on?
I know. Like, if you get super ahead early, you can use it to like push a lead really hard, but that's about it. That's the only time I'd ever get it.
Okay.
I think if you have the gold to buy it, it can be good, but it's also not necessary at all.
But if you fall behind after getting it, it's done. Like you've delayed your like Duskblade or whatever, right?
Yeah, your power spikes.
I think there's a bit of math behind like the damage or something that Virtue Bot did.
Yeah.
Like it's actually better than Dirk after Warrior for damage. I could
Yeah,
be
just
wrong.
for the
I
raw
don't know.
damage stat. I'm pretty sure that's what it said, yeah. Because the levels and lethality, how that works in the game. Max, were you gonna say something on that?
Just very small. Just when you said like Tiamat helps you help you snowball the lead, I feel like the money that you put into Dirk and that extra lethality damage that will help you one shot someone also helps you. It's really hard to. They're both so close, but one costs more. It's really situational. I think the only actual advantage Tiamat gives you is farming faster. I don't think it actually lets you snowball any harder because the extra burst from Stray Dirk lets you snowball just as hard, basically.
And Tiamat does technically do more, but all you're doing is putting yourself farther from Duskblade.
Yeah. One situation is like if you're jumping into a wave, you Tiamat, and it creates isolation. That's like one niche kind of situation people bring up.
You one-shot the wave with W anyway after 2 items, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of completing jungle item, then going for just a Dirk, and then building full Black Cleaver? What do you think about that?
I think it's okay, but like
let's say you're not like hard snowballing, and you need to be tanky as well.
That's fine.
I don't see what's bad about it.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Other than like, maybe you don't want to. No, I don't know what I'm saying here. Don't worry.
It's fine.
I think, that's more than
Like, I tried it, I think it's really gold efficient, and it's like, gives you the best of both worlds, like, gives you damage and gives you, like, sustain and, like, HP, because as Kha'Zix, like, if you're playing, like, a frontline, I don't know, it's efficient. My playstyle is, like, a more bruiser, so I normally play Kha'Zix as a full bruiser. Like, I don't really like going, like, I go full lethality, full one-shot, stuff like that, either when I'm, like, smurfing, or when I'm playing against like a full squish comp. Like if I see a tank top lane, if I see a tank support, nah dude. Like I need to deal with everyone.
Yeah.
That's how I think. I don't know. But I know some people prefer full lethality just to kill the carry and the fight is over, but you never know that the 16 and of Vladimir can 1v9 the fight, you know?
Mm-hmm. There was a follow-up to that I was gonna ask on Conqueror. Let's say like if you take Conqueror, are you locked into building primarily Bruiser, or can you run Conqueror with lethality? Because some people have attached like a stigma against mixing matching with Conk and lethality. You guys have strong opinions on it?
I think it depends. It all depends how ahead you are. Yeah, you need Cleaver. Cleaver is like the whole thing. The Cleaver makes the whole setup good, in my opinion. Like if you don't go Cleaver, you're kind of trolling.
Do you think Cleaver with lethality is good? Like Cleaver and then full lethality?
Yeah, I think that can work.
I usually just go like Duskblade, Cleaver, and then like Mortal and like Death Dance. It's kind of fun. I mean, I never get to the Death Dance. Game's fucking over at that point, but
I think it's more about the cooldown reduction.
yeah.
Yeah, do you overcap it?
With that build? No, I don't. Well, I mean, I would with DD, but it just Death Dance.
Yeah, but you sell jungle item. Like that's for me. It's like the only time I buy DD is when I sell jungle item. When I'm
You shouldn't worry about overcapping CDR ever anyway. I think it's like control. Like
CDR is
everything
on
has,
everything.
Yeah, it's everything's got 10% CDR. Like yeah, I think if you're gonna overcap, and you're not gonna get like every fucking use out of all your items.
I feel like GA is like really good on Kha'Zix as well. I'm like I always build GA.
Yeah, GA on
Like third item GA. It's like really broken. Third or fourth item when you don't need like I'd say Lord Dominic's or something like that. I think GA is like really OP.
Is it that bad to overcap on CDR on Kha'Zix specifically? Or can you sometimes get away with it, like under the right build?
It really doesn't
I mean,
matter.
the only way you overcap it's like when you go Cleaver with 2 lethality items, or like, yeah, that's the only way you overcap here.
Does anybody?
Yeah, Edge and Knight doesn't have CDR, thankfully.
super off topic from this.
Oh god, what is it?
I'm just curious if anyone at all goes machete anymore. And when
Oh
I
yeah,
anyone,
I was.
a good
I
question.
wanted to ask. Yeah, I wanted to ask that too. I never go machete. I've never went
I feel
machete.
like
I went machete in like season 8, season 7, something like that.
I feel like, because it was like more of a follow-up to your blue buff question, if anybody starts blue, but I feel like
Yeah.
even when you start blue buff, I feel like machete's worse. Which is weird, because historically, you started machete on blue side to just like full clear as fast as possible, like maybe 15-20 seconds faster than talisman, right? But I actually feel like you almost can't fucking clear anymore, and maybe it's because also straight full clearing isn't good because you need a crab, and you're not getting the crab like right after blue or whatever like you used to with machete. Now you have to get it like you have to skip a camp and then get it after like 4 or 5 camps or whatever.
No, it's all about talisman. It's all about Krug Raptor cycling meta, and you can't do that without talisman early.
Yeah. Sure. Does anyone use machete in this call?
No.
Okay.
Like when I start blue buff, I always want to go it, and then I go it, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm like, I can't take raptors now until I get smite back up, or until I'm level 4 or 5 or whatever. It's like, it just feels bad.
Can you like actually efficiently clear golems with machete
Absolutely.
after you get ready?
Yeah.
Just smite the small one.
It's more about raptors.
No, Rob, not that
What do you
again.
mean? No, it's no. I proved it
I
with machete.
I haven't tried it yet. But I know you were doing it, and then I saw someone else was doing it, and I'm like, oh wait, should I try it? I think
So I tried all the variations for clearing Krugs. I tried it with machete and talisman, and I found that smiting the small Krug with machete is faster. But with talisman, smiting the big one is faster.
Yeah.
That's what we discovered. See, I wasn't wrong. We were talking about machetes.
Yeah, there's a whole debate.
But it is faster. I was only doing that always because I always started blue with machete, so it was always faster to do that.
That's fair. If we can go back from talisman machete, there's another question related to the Conqueror one. If someone's running Electrigo with full lethality Kha'Zix, is it okay to mix in bruiser items like Dust Dance, Sterix, maybe something like Maw? If
I
you're
don't
running
really like
lethality?
Sterix. Like I go Sterix only when I don't know. It depends. Sterix is good only if you just don't want to get one shot, or when for a tabbies and they have like some CC as well. I'd say.
I can rephrase it. Like, what are some bruiser items that you want to consider if you're going full lethality Kha'Zix? Like, what's one that you could max in?
I go fully lethality Kha'Zix, and it gets like really, really late game. I still warrior for Black Cleaver usually for the 6 item slot.
I know people do so warrior.
Is your bruiser item if you're going full lethality? I mean, you got it. Start using them hands, dodge some stuff.
Oh my.
Take a Maw in some scenarios, Hextrinker. Otherwise, like, I feel like if you're going full lethality, just go full lethality. Like, build all the penetration. Just dodge shit if you need to.
I think there was a game where Chaos. I think there was a game where Chaos, like after Dustblade, he backed with 3.5k gold and just bought a Dust Dance instead of another lethality.
I mean, yesterday I had like 2 gold on my back, and I noticed 2 people open, so I bought Mage Eyes.
Nice, very good.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if the game's over, it doesn't matter what you build.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that. Like, there's good reasoning behind that buy. It's just for like staying on the map and ending the game faster. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, but I don't know. I feel like if you bag with that much gold, the game's is over.
Sure. Does anyone else mix like some bruiser items if you're running lethality Assassin Claw?
I used to do like Black Cleaver, but I don't know. I just favored full lethality. Like, if you could just dodge everything, right, you don't need Black Cleaver.
Alright, that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
That's what I say about tier 2 boots. I'm like, you don't need them. Just start dodging.
I feel like obviously it's really rare to go for 6 item, but if you are 6 item, I do think selling Warrior for Black Cleaver is really good because the damage difference is 20. Obviously, Warrior's 60 and Black Cleaver is 40. But then just the extra move speed it gives you when you like have W evolve, for example, and you just hit 3-man, you're so fast, and it just I don't know. It's 20 damage difference if you're 6 item. Your burst will not go down dramatically. I promise you. 20 damage is not a big difference, but having the extra HP in case you mess up somehow is just such a good insurance policy, basically.
Sure.
I've never sold Warrior for Black Cleaver. If it ever goes that late, I'll sell Warrior for Dust Stance. But that's
I thought you were gonna say Triforce for a second. Full Tinjus.
Legendary Triforce.
I thought you were gonna go full Tinjus. Holy shit.
No, I haven't actually run that in a while. You know.
There's
You
probably
don't
a good
see
reason for it.
Warrior?
Have you liked winning lately?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
Alright.
don't know. Maybe just times have changed. Goddamn.
Damn.
Damn, times have changed.
It's okay, they're coming back because they're bringing out the lethality attack speed item soon.
Oh hell
Oh,
yeah!
we can touch on
They're
those soon.
just putting fervor back in the game or whatever.
Oh.
I miss the times where you can actually play Kha'Zix as a actual assassin every game, no matter the team comp. And now it's like, oh yeah, do they have a resolve secondary? Do they have are they gonna build tabbies, guys? You know, I don't know. It's pretty shit. I miss assassin meta.
I don't even think Conqueror is what makes that build so good. I feel like that fucking Legend Tenacity is stupid as hell. Shit
Yeah.
is so good.
I think just W evolve.
Sure.
I mean, you have to if you go Conqueror, you have to like go W eventually.
Yeah.
You can go for a QR maybe, but
I don't actually run W Conqueror.
Really?
Interesting.
All 3 W marks give you 3 stacks of Conqueror. It's so good.
Why is he? Why are you saying that
I
now?
never knew that, but
That's a huge reason why. So
you literally like
5 stacks.
you literally get instant Conqueror proc with 1 rotation.
Yeah.
It's really broken. Like in teamfights, it's like, oh yeah, dude, try to touch me.
Yeah.
I just find that I get it anyway, like pretty quickly. I've never been much of a user of W unless I really need to.
Yeah.
That's just me.
There was one question someone asks, and people frequently ask, almost as controversial as Flash on FND. It's Blue Smite or Red Smite? What do you guys think?
Oh, I have a theory for this. I can literally like people ask me all the time. I can start if you guys want or
Yeah, sure.
So basically, like Blue Smite is simple as fuck. Like you go Blue Smite when you wanna gank lanes, you wanna like pressure stuff, like you wanna be active on the lanes. Red Smite, I'd say you go Red Smite against duelist champions in the jungle. Like you go Red Smite against champions that are good at skirmishing, like Odier, like Xinjiao, Mastery, something that they also go Red Smite like 100% of the time. And you wanna somehow survive.
Enemy jungler goes Red Smite.
Right now, I mean Red Smite, it's just damage broken. Like if you go Blue Smite, you're either snowballing or you're playing for just to gank.
Nah, fuck that.
I like Red Smite into like a bunch of melees as well. If they have like 4 melee champs, I'll go Red Smite. Just so you can actually utilize the damage well. And I probably go Blue Smite maybe like 80% of my games. Cause
Hell yeah, that's my boy.
Again, I run Electrocute, so it helps proc it. I mean, not that you really need it if you leap on top of somebody, but it just does more burst damage anyway than Red Smite.
Yeah.
I assume Rob Hockey could agree that also Blue Smite's good if you're a Dark Harvest user like Rob Hockey is.
Oh,
You could proc
fuck
Dark
yeah.
Harvest. Yeah.
That's
Oh my god, that's so satisfying when you just jump in and smite them and they die from like 30%.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're just so mad.
So I take Blue Smite maybe 89% of my games, but I would take Red Smite if I'm against lots of assassins, by the way. Like if I'm against like there's a LeBlanc mid, Talon mid, something like that, I would take Red Smite just for the reduced damage when I duel them, so you don't get one shot. Because obviously as Kha'Zix you like to do the one shotting, but you have to be realistic. You're also a squishy champion, so against like LeBlanc and Talon, Red Smite's just good to survive. Because no matter what, you're gonna do damage, but it's about how long you survive to do the damage.
So you don't take it for the jungle matchups, like Xin Zhao, like Master Yi's people sometimes will switch to red. Do you think that's like an option or something you would do?
I don't know. As an R-Evolve user, I feel like you don't. That smite is it barely matters because with the R-Evolve you're able to do them so easily. The smite is it doesn't matter that much. A little bit it does, but I don't know, with R-Evolve you're just able to do almost everyone unless you're really behind.
I always take red smite against Rengar. Fuck Rengar. Elise also.
Yeah, always, yeah. Rengar, Elise.
Lee Sin. It's 50-50. It depends what happens. If you guys are even, like, I'll take.
Oh yeah,
red
Lee
smite.
Sin. Lee Sin's so overtuned right now. People don't realize it.
If he lands a Q on you and you don't have red smite or ninja tabs, you're just dead. And he's 6.
The matchup feels really on who jumps on who, because I feel like again, if Lee lands Q on you, then yeah, you're dead. But if you hop on him before, then he's kind of dead. It's really just who gets on who.
Yeah, that's the same as the Rengar matchup. It's like it all depends on how good the Rengar is, how well he utilizes W. That's pretty much it. Like as a Kha'Zix main, that feels really bad if the Rengar's some really good player.
Lee Sin's a lot easier to outplay just for the simple fact that you can animation cancel his ulti. With Rengar, you can't really do any of that.
Yeah.
Me and Jong are the only 2 legends to do it twice, I think.
Twice in one clip is pretty impressive. Before we go like into matchups, because we'll dive into a breakdown like individual matchups. Just to close some of the itemization things. In terms of boots, because some people are pretty divided, do you think you should always evolve or upgrade to tier 2 boots in the early game, or do you think it's fine to build it after like 3rd or 4th item, or when do you guys usually do it?
It's all about on back timings and everything. Like if you have gold for the lethality item, you always go for damage. If you don't have gold for anything, you go for boot. Like let's say you're backing on like 2200, like you're gonna buy 2 components for like Dirk and Hammer, right? Warhammer.
Yeah.
I think it
Unless
also depends.
It depends. Like I'd say mercs are high priority if the enemy has like you need like if they have CC that you have to avoid. That is like let's say you're playing against Fiddlesticks, like you can't really dodge his CC, so you need to like rush mercs for him. At least that's my opinion. That's what I think. That's what I do now.
I think it also depends on the team comp of the enemy team. Like if they're full AD, obviously I would probably get ninja tabs after my jungle item.
Sure.
But there are also games where boost rush is not that good. If they have like mixed damage and they don't really have like that much CC, it's like, yeah dude, I'm just gonna sit on like level 1 boots. Yeah.
Should you ever get level 1 boots before finishing warrior? Is that something to consider?
I do that pretty often.
Well, for me it's like I run magical footwear like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I think it's really dependent on your back timings, because if you back on 1000, then you're gonna get like your 650 jungle item and then 350 like longsword. But if you back on like I don't know, like 1200 or 1250, then honestly half the time I'd get that same buy, but that's odd sell refillable for those boots. So it's really depending on just how much money you back on.
I think if you have like Stalker's double longsword boots buy, that's kind of what you want to aim for, like first/second back. That's like a solid back right there.
Yeah, but full clear like all 6 camps, it's exactly like 950, 1000 gold, which is like Stalker. It was just jungle item and long.
If you clear everything, it's 1050.
Yeah, but you can't get double longsword off that, which you just said.
Yeah, you can double longsword machete.
Oh, I mean, that's horrible.
Well, if you're going blue smite, you might as well just go double longsword anyway. Well, the red smite's for utility, right? If you're going blue smite, you're going for damage. So why not just get the other longsword and then get a machete? You're not sacrificing anything but 20 true damage or whatever it is, and you're getting 10 AD, so you can clear every camp faster, do more damage in duels.
Remember your philosophy of just dodging, and you slow them, you get movement speed, it's a lot easier to dodge.
That is true.
No, both my hands work. I can dodge fine.
Alright.
I mean, low diamond, it's easy to dodge, but that's just me.
Oh my god.
Here we go.
Alright.
Holy fuck. Alright, good banter. So, in terms of the boot options for tier 2 boots, is CDR boot ever an option that people should look at? Like Luke CDD boots?
Yeah, I do that every game. It's better for snowball.
You do it every game?
It's way better for... I do it every time I go electrocute. Every time I go Elixir, I go the Magical Footwear and the 5% CDR.
Holy shit.
Cosmic Insight or whatever you call it. I think it's way better.
I saw the Chaos Suit Transcendence.
If you take Transcendence, the value of it really shines.
Yeah, I think they're actually super underrated. If you don't need defense.
Yeah.
Because the passive they give too is actually pretty decent. The cooldown reduction on your flash.
Yeah, it's also a nice bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, CDR seems fine.
Overall, I think just relax about the boots, because if you can buy them, okay, sure. But otherwise, like,
just stay tier 1 boots the whole game. Doesn't matter.
Ah, but there's one more boot that we have yet to talk on. I like. No.
Zarkus Graves, let's go.
No, fuck you.
Wait.
No one's building attack speed on this champion.
I actually skipped one. There is Mobies. Does anyone actually build Mobies?
No. In games where you're like, you don't need that much damage. Like if you're really hard snowballing, and maybe when you go Star Evolve, and when you're back on 600 gold, I'd say, and you have boots, and you need like just to get faster on the map, I'd say. But later in the game, you always sell them, like, because you don't need them mid to late game. You don't need movies.
Yeah.
Sorcerer boots are the only boots that give damage.
No, we're gonna talk on that. It's okay.
They should make lethality boots. That would be
I do go.
Oh, that's what I was hyping up to.
If you go DH, I feel like there's no reason not to go Sork boots.
Yeah, just introduce us to the world of Sork boots, Rob. Just tell us.
It's just more damage. I mean, I can dodge. I don't need mercs. I don't need tabbies.
How often do you go Sork boots on Kha'Zix?
Every time I have DH.
Okay. And you take DH almost every game.
Don't you always go DH? Yeah.
Wait,
No, I go Conqueror a lot. Because I actually would like to win some games.
Okay.
So you deal more damage with what?
On Sork
well,
boots?
I go Scorch, so it's like... That's like negligible damage, but like with your first auto is like on average like 30 more damage for 100 MR. Yeah, that with your passive. So it's 30 damage for an auto for 100 MR, which I mean like it is about like 30, 35.
Is Scorch really good? Like it's Scorch really a thing that we should consider?
I really think it's good. Like I see no reason why I should have to wait 10 minutes for a rune.
But you think Nimbus looks bad, so...
Yeah, he thinks Nimbus is bad.
Alright, well, of course Nimbus is bad, it doesn't do damage.
Blend your brain.
Quote, the Robaki, the Sork boot builder, so... I don't know.
Build items that do damage.
Let's say if you have to decide between Nimbus and Water Walking, I'd say Water Walking is way better.
Yeah, but that's not even a decision because you're going Scorch instead.
Okay.
That's a great thing. I don't have to make that choice.
Okay.
I will say if you're deciding between Nimbus, if you don't like Scorch, Water Walking is way better, but Water Walking is also awful. So
just
that's where you're dying.
You're always in the river.
Look where I am D1 at 75% win rate right now. I don't need this. You guys suck.
Damn. How'd you climb on land so quick?
I mean, it was easy. I just bought Sack's account.
Scorch is broken, I guess.
Yeah, Scorch is OP. No, but like, why? Like, look at your runes. Like, this is how you decide which runes are good. Look at them after the game. The great thing about League of Legends is they did something right for once, and you can see how much damage, what the uptime is, like what the use of it is. Like at the end of your game, just click on your match history and look. Like, let's see. What? Let's see it. Okay, I had a 30-minute game. Absolute Focus was up for 25 minutes. I'd say that's pretty good. What is that, 80-something%? Solid. Right? Sudden Impact did 1,000 damage. Scorch did 500 damage. Like,
nice.
Then just look at it has it there for you. That's how you're supposed to decide what's good.
Alright.
When you look at Water Walking and you have it active for 5 minutes in a fucking 28-minute game, I'd say that's pretty fucking bad. What is that, 15%?
But you can get like 2 kills out of it, you know.
Sure.
It's the map.
Maybe you can get. Okay,
yeah,
your
like,
playstyle is different, but there's no like playstyle doesn't have anything to do about that. It's maybe you can get to.
Yeah, well, What Saber's saying isn't just
But
like
then that's like a
basically
bad
don't-
inch.
just look at the number. Don't just intangibles in League. You can't like calculate pressure. You know, there's no number tied to pressure on the map.
Okay, but like you said, maybe you can get 2 kills. It's like you're throwing it up in the fucking air there.
Yeah.
Like maybe if I take Gathering Storm, the game will go to 60 minutes and I'll be fucking insane. Alright.
Okay.
I mean, I'm playing for map by having more damage to kill the enemy jungler, but fair.
Does anyone
It
have
sounds
any?
overkill. It just sounds overkill.
Yeah. Does anyone have any closing thoughts on like any topics we forgot for items, itemization? Any other questions?
I can ask something. Are we gonna discuss about skins and which skin feels better on Kha'Zix, depending on your build?
It's not a discussion. Classic is clearly the best.
Classic.
Classic, without a doubt, is the best.
It's the performance skin. It doesn't look good. It's ugly.
Yeah.
I will never not use Classic.
Pull my
I'll
boy
cancel
ugly.
way too many autos.
That says Rob Hockey, who bought over $100 in all the chromas for championship.
Just to see if any of them were good. No, I just wanted to see. I said maybe Riot did it right this time. You know, they make like 80 Riven skins and everyone's better than the last. Like they're all better visually. The animations are better. All the cancels are smoother.
The new Riven skin is actually so good.
Like, yeah, exactly. Every new Riven skin is better than the last one. They're like, oh, this is the new best Riven skin every fucking time. For some reason, we get Darkstar Kha'Zix. What do you want?
Championship is pretty good. It's like a middle ground.
Fuck
It's pretty.
no, that is
Championship feels really bad.
It feels
that
good.
is second
It feels,
to worst
it
on
feels
my
okay.
list.
I
Honestly, it's really bad.
About the skin
I don't
thing,
like champion.
this
Only
is just a
skin I
personal-
like is Dead Blossom probably, or a mecha if I'm going Bruiser.
my favorite.
That's the only one that you should be using, IMO.
This
It's
is a
Death Blossom.
complete like preference, but for some reason when I like going like QE evolve, I like to go mecha. When I like to go R evolve, I go Death Blossom. It just feels it's like I don't know why it just.
But R
when
is
I play
ugly with
mecha,
that.
when I play mecha, the Q evolve, it feels like the isolation because the mecha skin makes it so big. You're more easily able to see it, and with Q evolve, you're just going for the assassinations. So it's just with mecha, it kind of pops out more when you go Q evolve full lethality type of thing.
I've never heard that. That's interesting, actually.
That just my preference. I could be a crackhead, you know.
Sure.
It's a cool preference.
Think we're going to items. Anyone else have any other item questions?
No. We gotta go back to Championship. You actually like that skin? That is the worst fucking shit I've ever seen.
It looks good.
The claws are just awful.
Championship?
It feels clunky.
It feels so bad. It feels honestly worse than Darkstar.
Darkstar's-
I don't
I don't
like
know.
the sounds it makes.
I like running it with Arvel. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the
Darkstar with Arvel looks so
Arvel.
cool.
When you Q, it sounds like nails on chalkboard or
Yeah,
something.
they evolved on. Evolved to.
Hmm.
Classic or Death Blossom? Just use one of those.
Nobody's mentioned the cursed skin yet. No one said anything
Oh,
about it.
The Sands.
Sans is
We're not talking
fine.
about
Sans is not that bad. The Sans
Everyone
is
hates
good.
it.
We put Sans at a solid third on the Rabaki tier list.
Okay.
It was a solid third.
Do you think it's like just ugly but performs good? Like, does it feel good?
I think
It's not ugly though. What
It
the-
is
I don't
ugly.
think I don't think it's
Splash art
ugly.
is ugly.
This
It
Splash
is.
definitely ugly.
Splash art's horrible.
Alright, like, the splash art, sure. Alright. The model's nice though.
I think that skin's honestly the most fine out of all of them.
The wing jumping and shit is cool. It's like the scarab. That's pretty cool.
It feels kind of like a chroma, honestly. I don't really feel that much of a difference between that and the classic.
I like its back animation. Not as good as Death Blossoms, but it's not bad.
Mm. What do you guys think of like the W hitboxes across the skins? Do you think it is like any of them?
W is
God.
broken. Like Mecha W evolve is
Yeah, I think
hits almost every time.
You're right.
Has anybody watched any
Yep,
fucking like really low spec PC Chinese people play? And they have mecha with W evolve, and it's like one fucking little swirly going out instead of the three. That shit looks so bad.
Mm.
I don't know how you'd even hit that. I don't know how he does it.
Interesting.
If you run fucking low graphics, you only get one instead of like three, I think it is, that it usually has when you throw your W.
Sure.
Yeah, I used to play with that. It was pretty aids.
You had the low spec PC?
Yeah.
And the what? No, it's not AIDS though. It got you better at the game, right? You hit your W more consistently now. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Now you're better.
Alright.
Hard time.
Cannot argue with that. Okay, we're done with skins. So, onto matchups. What do you guys think is the hardest matchup for Kha'Zix in the game right now? Like in the
Jarvan,
meta? It has to be in the meta.
Yeah, I'd say Elise.
At least, yeah.
That's so insane.
Really?
The hardest matchup is getting good solo laners.
I think Olaf is the worst fucking matchup.
Olaf
you can possibly
Yeah,
get.
because you're not an Ahri Evolve player. If you go Ahri Evolve, Olaf's easy.
Or because I play against better Olaf players.
I don't know about that. That's not true at all.
I will
don't
say
know.
NA historically has the worst fucking Olaf players in the fucking world. These people just do not know how to play Olaf. But go play against Grigne one game, tell me Olaf is in fucking hard matchup. Go play against fucking, what's that guy's name? The fucking Fox jungler? I don't think he's still junglers for Fox.
Darthawk.
No, Omega Beast Panda, go play against his fucking Olaf, and you get your fucking shit kicked in for the first like 10 minutes because the champion's insane early game.
Yeah, you don't fight him.
You still win the game because they suck and they get outscaled, right? But early game, that matchup is fucking impossible.
Ahri Evolve.
Alright.
You're gonna R evolve at level fucking 3, bro. He's gonna pull up to your Raptors and murder you and your whole family.
Well, then you give him the Raptors.
What the fuck?
Alright.
You Q him, he gets like 30% more attack speed.
What's up, Zequilla?
I'd say, like, back to what's the hardest matchups. I think Rek'Sai is pretty hard too. That champ is crazy.
But nobody, but
Oh, yeah.
only play Rek'Sai as the least in counter.
Yeah.
No, nobody plays that as the Kha'Zix counter. Everybody thinks that fucking like just playing a tank or something. But yeah, Rek'Sai that was like when Rek'Sai was super meta. That was my hardest fucking thing. I would just lose every game.
Yeah.
I feel like
when it was like when it was with Conqueror broken. So.
I feel like if it's with Conqueror, but I still thought Hellblade's Rek'Sai was better. But I think not only is Rek'Sai a counter to Ka, but like most people play Ka like a certain way, which counters that playstyle. Like it definitely counters my playstyle. I want to kill the enemy jungler, and there's no point in the game where you can kill Rek'Sai.
No, you can't kill.
If you dodge the knockup,
you can kill him.
Yeah, if you dodge the knockup, then you can
Yeah,
kill him. But you can't 1v1 him. There's no. I mean, how
Or
do
if
you
you
dodge the
kite him with Ahri Evolve.
You bait his W out.
Arvolve doesn't do anything. He's burrowed. He sees where you are.
He just like right now the fact that he just combos you really fast because of the Halo Blaze thingy.
Halo
Like
Blaze is
you
insane.
one shots in a second because of this thing. So you can literally never contest him unless you're like really ahead. But then he goes some tanky shit like Sterex and you just counter stuff.
Can we talk about the biggest counter to Kha'Zix now? Yumi?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no matter, you guys know that whoever Yumi's on, they can't be isolated. So the 80 carry you want a one shot, they have Yumi, they're never gonna be isolated. That's 70% of your damage gone.
Yeah, I tend to go Arival.
I just ban that every game. I don't care.
Zequilla
I'm not
was
banning it. I'm doing Clarion, and he bans it every game. So I don't care.
Zequilla was saying it wasn't as big of a deal. What is like?
Really?
Do you still feel that Zequilla since it's nerfed or?
Honestly, anymore.
I mean, if you don't see it, it's not a big deal. But when you have to play against it, and you just feel useless the whole game, it's a little rough.
But that's the thing. I never see it like ever. Like I stopped banning it because I just never see it. I just ban Shaco now because.
Oh yeah, Shaco's so
we were gonna get to that.
God. Oh my god, this stuff.
Shaco's pretty hard now too. I
What
mean,
do
he
you
was
guys-
always kind of hard, but now he's just way worse.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous. Like, if this guy Pinkward gets to like high-low playing this champ, I don't know. Then it's really broken.
Oh, no. Do you guys like what is the counter to playing as Shaco right now?
Ignore him.
Good solo laners.
People brought up like
Stamping.
Roshin Red Sweeper. Is that good?
Could be good.
Like
I don't
like
know.
level 1 Red Sweeper being aggressive in invades.
The thing is, though, Shaco takes Ignite. He always wins, I think. And his boxes on isolate him now. I mean, they always have, but like he could just put down a box and just sit on it, and there's nothing you can do. With Ignite, you just lose. And he takes. No, they don't. It's just hard.
Do you guys change up your evolves or builds depending on if you're against Shaco or champions like Shaco? That can like maybe outburst you and be hard to catch.
Against like strong duelist, I usually go R second. because W is realistically not gonna really help that much against Draco. E, not really gonna help. So in that matchup, I'd probably go R second, unless I was like 10-0, then I'd just go E.
Hmm.
When there's a champion like Shaco who's able to outburst you because they were recently overbuffed and such, I'd actually do the opposite. So you say you wouldn't go W because that doesn't help you duel him. I'd actually do the reverse Uno card. I'd actually go W, not to duel him, but to be strong in as many team fights as possible. Because in a teamfight environment, he might be able to one-shot better than you in like small skirmishes and whatever. But in a teamfight environment with W evolve, you could just be more useful in a teamfight setting.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey guys, gotta go now, but great talk, everyone. Think
Alright.
we got a lot of good ideas out there.
Dark Harvest
Nimbus
every game.
Scorch.
Scorch is Scorch boots.
I might try Scorch.
Hey, listen.
And you're gonna go down 100 LP.
If it makes you feel any better, all I did was just copy the best Korean Kha'Zix runes. You're welcome. Have a good day.
I'll try.
That's all I did was just copy his runes. I was like, all right.
Which one? Which Korean? There's two.
It's the actual good one.
Okay, so Minka, the guy in the server.
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, all I did was copy his runes, and I changed some things. I forget what I changed. I don't know what I changed. He was throwing maybe like Relentless or something. I don't know. I changed something. Oh wait.
I mean, yeah, Relentless is really broken in fast-paced games, in like fast servers, like when it's all about jungle, like US and Korea. It's like really.
I didn't like. He went red smite and stuff. Like I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, all I did was just copy his page and just change like two things because that I personally like. I was like, oh, that sounds actually really good. I was like, Scorch with DH, you're covering everything. Fuck yeah, go.
Sure.
Yeah, who's the idiot now? Fuck you guys.
Alright.
But I swear, Gamergirl's like in my head or something, just literally saying everything that I would say. So that's cool. It's been
nice.
Watching me run it down on Lee Sin or something. I don't know. Stalking me, maybe. Yeah, who knows?
I'm running it on Olaf right now.
Wait, you're what?
I'm running it on Olaf, but it's fine.
You're running it on Olaf? That's good.
Yeah, Olaf's pretty cool now.
Oh, that's an open game. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Alright. Goodbye, Mr. Hockey.
Goodbye.
So, tank junglers, Nunu. Bye. Or I guess maybe not bye, but things like Nunu, Amumu, what do you guys think?
Annoying, so.
We don't see any Sejuani. Like ever.
Really?
Zac is the new annoying thing. I think Zac is.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Really
I'm a big fan of Zac.
Yeah, Zequilla is definitely a Zac lover. I'm not playing against it, but playing as it.
Yeah,
that
Zac
champ
is a fucking beast.
That champ is, I don't know. He's really strong.
Wait, what do you clear? What do you start?
I go Talisman, and I just do my whole red side.
Red side? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So, things like Nunu, do you think its Conk is always a must, just because of the jungle matchup? Or do you want to have like more tanks in the game before you take Conk?
No, I just take it.
Okay, so there's a Nunu, you're taking Conqueror.
Yeah, with Black Leaf.
Okay.
Against Nunu, I would just take. I always take Electrocute with Dark Harvest, so but I'll second build like after Warrior. I'll get Executioners just to reduce his healing because his healing's absurd.
So you wouldn't go like Cleaver in your build versus tanks, or what do you think?
I might. It depends. Like if they have like a Nautilus, Nunu, and like I don't know, like fucking something tanky top lane as well, I'll go it. I'll run Cleaver, but if not, I'll just get Executioners to full lethality. And Lord Dominic's probably like third item.
So
something,
Max,
yeah,
what is your answer to Nunu?
Yeah, I think mine's the same as Zequilla's. He's just not saying what his is. So I would go full lethality as well, basically. And then obviously you wouldn't deal with Nunu at all. That champion, you can't do anything to him. The point is you'd be ignoring Nunu and going for his backline.
Yeah.
So then. I think that's kind of what skill means. Is he doesn't go Black Cleaver or Conqueror to deal with Nunu. He basically goes to Shoot and Lethality to ignore Nunu and just go for the other 4 members that may or may not be squishy.
Yeah. It also depends on how ahead I would be. Also, like if I'm like, way ahead and I could just ignore like the tank backline, then yeah, I won't need like Black Cleaver or LDR or executioners, I would just destroy their backline and then they just lose because they have no damage.
Sure. Tinjus, do you have like a take on how you deal with tank junglers that hasn't been touched on?
Conqueror or Cleaver, really. If I see a tank jungler, I'm probably going Conk. Like, regardless of the enemy.
You're kind of
The
forced
other
to.
enemies. Yeah. It's just
Unless
really... It's difficult to deal with like an aftershock tank. Early game, but it becomes easier with Conk later on.
But then again, if they're like smart, they'll never like contest you any given moment of the game. Like they'll never. If they're like a good player, they'll never like try to fight you or try to contest cutoffs. Because if it's a good player, they know they lose. And instead, like since they're playing a tank jungler, they would focus on like spam ganking, like Nunu and Nunu's like there's no counter because Kha'Zix is like I'd say he's like all dependent on if you have like an opening to get some objectives or if you can have like some setup to gank a lane. Like Kha'Zix is a really shit when it comes to ganking and when it comes to like controlling the map. He's all about like skirmishing. Like, and if the enemy is not allowing you to skirmish, it's just doomed. Like, and power farming is not an option in high elo, so.
Unless you really like flipping coins.
Yeah. Unless your laners are just that much better than their laners and you can actually farm.
Yeah, that's why like winning games in like high elo games in Diamond, because it's I don't know, like for me, it's, for example, like I just can't win a game in Diamond, like unless I'm dual kill. Like dual kill, I win every game. When I'm solo kill, I just can't. Like, how do you deal with those people? Like,
the players are really dumb in Diamond. Not to be mean to anybody in Diamond, but
no, it's just
I think Rob
everyone's
left.
like.
Yeah, Rob left a while ago.
God damn.
I feel like you have to herd your teammates like sheep slot. You have to spam ping, you're getting ganked or whatever. Obviously, it doesn't work half the time because they don't listen, but when you're playing Kha'Zix and you're forced to farm until level 6 half the time, you just have to spam ping or you have to ward for the enemy jungler. Really commonly, I buy, like, if I ever have the extra money, it's rare, but if you ever do, buy a control ward and you place in, like, blue buff bush or something like that, and there your top laner is now protected from ganks. Or you place it in an enemy red buff bush, and then boom, your bot lane is protected half the time. But it's hard to get in there as well when you have no mid prio, but that's just something you can do to help your laners pre-6.
I think the game is really dependent. Like Kha'Zix, like is it's game changing if level 3. It's just so game changing. Like normally this happens on like a mid lane or a top lane. Like you can't really gank bot lane unless they're overextended and you know or fight is happening. Like you need it's so tricky ganking bot lane as Kha'Zix. Especially against Caitlyn Janna or Caitlyn Thresh, you're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm literally gonna jump in and die. Like, wow, what do you want me to do?
I'd say my favorite way to gank bot lane, because that's such a hard lane to gank as Kha'Zix, is when, like, let's say it's Caitlyn Janna, they push the lane and they backed, and the way it's bouncing back is to hide in the bot as long as you can, really. That's the only realistic way I've ever found to ganking bot lane. Hide in the bush, and then someone comes out isolated, like Janna's walking towards the bush, your combo, like, 80% of her damage before warrior, and then from there, you just trying to do whatever you can.
Sure. If we can bring it back to a couple of the matchups we haven't touched on. What do you guys think of the Echo matchup? And we can broaden it to like AP, but right now, just like since Echo is so popular, do you think it's like a hard counter, or what do you guys deal with Echo?
It's just the mobility that's the only counter. He's just so mobile, hard to catch, and just so sticky. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can never
it's
catch.
just a massive pain in the ass.
And imagine if
not
he's like
really that big of a threat, unless he gets a big lead and can burst you down. Otherwise, no, he's all right. You just can't really kill him. He's a bitch and keeps running away.
You just go Hexdrinker if he gets ahead, or
I don't really think you need
they
it.
build AP.
Yeah, I don't think you need it.
Okay.
I will say though, I was smurfing yesterday and I was playing against this Echo as Kha'Zix, and he was like 2 and like 10, and he could still one-shot me. Like, it was crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like that before.
Holy shit.
Like, it was actually insane. Like, his EQ, Smite, Dark Harvest, it was just crazy.
Damn. There is one matchup that like is a plague to people that people complain about is the Kha'Zix one. It's maybe less popular now. Do you guys still have trouble with Kha'Zix matchups?
Yes. He's just overtuned. I think we can all agree. He's just...
Yeah, that matchup is...
People think it's Kha'Zix favored, but it's really not, I feel like. Like, it's actually kind of a hard matchup, especially if he gets to full clear. Like,
he almost always does.
Yeah, I think it's his clear time is so ridiculous.
It's only Kha'Zix favored if you have... It's only Kha'Zix favored if you have soul laners that allow you to invade. That doesn't mean you could do anything. Because if you have soul laners that have prio and they allow you to invade Kha'Zix, then yeah, it's fine matchup. But that's completely dependent on your laners. That you don't decide that at all. That's basically just if your laners have prio, you could invade and punish them. If they don't, then you're fucked.
I know in this meta, I think Kha'Zix is really bad. It's all about ganking junglers right now.
I see. So you don't have like too much trouble with Kha'Zix? Like, do you see Kha'Zix's in your games, Gamergirl?
No, I haven't seen Kha'Zix in a while. Like the only people that play Kha'Zix are maybe Smurfs to get out of Diamond because it's super free low. Because people don't know how to close games in Diamond.
True. What do you guys think about Nocturne? Is that prevalent enough to mention?
I haven't seen Nocturne in ages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't see him very often either, but I'd say one of the only things I could really, because if you get feared by him, then you're kind of boned. But if you have R evolve and you are the second you're about to get feared, the 2 seconds you're invisible, or the 2 seconds he can't really hit you, and the fear goes away. So into the Nocturne matchup, I feel like R evolve is kind of necessary when it comes to dueling, because if he fears you, you're kind of dead, or you lose the trade instantly. But if because he could also Q he could also spell shield your Q or spell shield your auto, isolate auto. So having to R his fear is really vital.
One more AP champ. Does anyone have trouble with Evelyn? Or have anything to say on Evelyn?
If she's allowed to have
Evelyn
early game,
right now,
she'll just take over the game. Like, if you don't kill her
Is
early
Evelyn?
or something like that, she just goes off, and there's nothing you can do. You could build all the magic resist items in the game, she'll just one-shot you anyway.
A thing that I do against Evelyn rankers is that I know that they always 3 camp into blue buff. So what I do is like I clear my 3 camp and invade them on blue buff, and it's always a free kill. Like 80% of the time I'd say it's a free kill if I have Prime Mid. It's a thing, like nobody expects this to do it. It's like Kha'Zix, imagine getting invaded by a Kha'Zix level 3, that's like what? But it's really broken. Like, especially against Evelyn, if you manage to shut her down early game, she's like doomed. Like, you take her blue buff, you take her Gromp, you get the top crop, and then you rotate to the bot crop if your mid lane has prio, and it's just game over for her. She can't do anything.
A lot of people ask me about the Rengar matchup, and it just all dependent on what happens early game. If Rengar gets... It's hard. If you get a lead, you could just shit on him. It's just how the matchup...
But what evolve do you go against Rengar? I go Q always against Rengar, so I can manage to overburst him. Because if I use my full rotation, he just presses W and he's back to full. So I need the reduced cooldown on my Q. It's only the DPS and shit.
Yeah, I go Q evolve, I go Red Smite, I go Ninja Tabs, and I buy Executioner's Calling, because that champion's healing is fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, I bought. Yeah, that's a good buy against Rengar.
Yeah, I definitely Rengar is, as I said, I'm a diehard R evolve fan, but he's one of the only matchups I have to go Q evolve, because I use R evolve Kha'Zix mainly for the entire invis utility. But against Rengar ulti, it's absolutely useless evolve. You can't really use it. I mean, you could use it, but unless you get one shot, it's useless. So you Q evolve a necessity almost.
For Ivern, not Rengar, do you think it makes it more Ivern favored now that he's a ranged champion, or does that not really matter? Like this patch.
I don't think Ivern is like you can't really like the thing with Kha'Zix is playing against those utility junglers. It's all about how they put in you in team fights. But if they're like if you just invade them and punish them, and it's all about lane depend. It's all about like having lane. I think in those matchups, because if you like catch them like isolated, and it's really hard for them to come back. But again, they're gonna be way more used because they provide the utility in team fight. So 2 wins pretty much.
Sure. We can kind of wrap up like the seminar. If anyone in the text chat wants to leave any questions, we'll do a quick Q&A at the end.
Ooh, I had a small subject I want to bring up. It's like super small.
Sure.
I know how like for right now in the jungle meta, it's like super meta. Almost you do it every game. Is you place a ward 30 seconds in and you. So you know how champions like Olaf and stuff can easily invade Kha'Zix. So into those matchups, I love not switching to sweeper, even though almost every jungle game switches to sweeper. 30. I feel like with Kha'Zix, for example, you'd ward your own jungle like level 2 to avoid the Olaf invade level 3, and I don't see many people do it because obviously it's such a everyone like puts a ward level like 30 seconds in, backs your sweeper, and boom. I think it's really underrated to have that trinket just to help yourself not get invaded. Or if there's like a game where you can't gank because all 3 lanes have prio or something like that, then you need to stick with trinket for your laners so they don't get punished. And it's less about ganking with sweeper and more about warding for your laner.
I think that's fine.
That's not something you control.
Because he literally full clears in 3 minutes. It's really OP.
So what about if he invades you after 3 like once after first recall? Where's your own jungle up?
You can also, I mean, I don't know. Like I don't see any problem with dealing with Olaf once I'm level 6. I just avoid him till I'm 6 to get my Q evolve. He can't do anything against him, by the way.
I see. Some other minor general questions people had. The fucking clown horn. Some other questions people had.
The what?
How do you play to tank matchups and people that group like later on in the game? People who are grouped and you can't get isolation.
You play off your W evolve and you try to just get as many 3-man Ws as possible, and just be really annoying. It's less about one-shotting and just more about because so many times where if you're poking constantly with W, that enemy teams they're gonna get irritated. They're gonna try to kill you or jump on you, and then you just run away with like your invis and stop burning enemy CDs and just being a nuisance. And then once you slow them enough times, they're gonna stop stacking as 5 because they're gonna stack as 5 to avoid isolation. But once you hit 3-man Ws in a row, I promise you they're not gonna keep stacking, and then that's when you look for your opportunity.
Yeah, in tank matchups you should like look for Conqueror this all the time because right now like Conqueror has made so many champions viable junglers only because of the rune. Like let's say they remove Conqueror, there won't be such thing as all of maybe this thing this boots upgrade will be still good, but there won't be Hecarim, there won't be I don't know, Poppy jungle or stuff like that.
I think doesn't Poppy take Aftershock?
Yeah, I mean some Poppy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Predator or Aftershock.
A small example, I take Conquer too, but for example, if small, I'm watching your game right now, Gamer. If you took XQ, Poppy dies at blue buff level 2.
yeah, for sure.
That's obviously that's unlucky, it happens, but it's just a small example.
Sure.
I mean, it's enough for me just to get her flash. My reward is her jungle. Like, sure,
yeah.
300 gold or like 400 gold, it's fine. She's invading, I guess. But why?
Someone had a question. Is Tiamat on Breezer Ka ever viable? And what about Ravenous Hydra? If you were going to opt for it, would you upgrade it to Ravenous?
I just feel like Death Stance is such better. If you want the lifesteal, then just go Death Stance. If really, it's just so much better. So much more value.
Doesn't really auto attack. It's better if you just get the Death Stance because it heals off your abilities as well.
Does the active, is that better for Ravenous? Is it like more burst?
I feel like a big reason why Team kind of was popular, but like a really key thing about Tiamat on Kha'Zix back in the day is like it helps you proc electricity faster, but when you go Bruiser Kha'Zix, you're usually going Conqueror, so that interaction doesn't really exist anymore. That's why it's not as popular, I'd say.
Sure. Another general question. We have like around 5 minutes left. Is when is it okay to split push? Like throughout the mid game, late game on Kha'Zix as a jungler?
I mean, whenever you don't need to like be with your team, I think, or add an object.
Yeah, because
it's just so much gold and XP for you. It's really good.
Kha'Zix doesn't really have much hurt taking.
Kha'Zix is a high. He needs stuff in his mouth to. It's not like Jarvan. You can go whatever. You can go tank and still 1v9. That's why Kha'Zix never good in pro play. We didn't say anything about taking attack speed rune or double adaptive. What do you guys think? Or it's just a personal preference?
That's a good question.
Because I know. So basically, what double adaptive does is helps you clear faster, but if you go attack speed plus adaptive, it just makes your clear health.
Oh.
That's pretty much it. That's the whole difference.
I didn't know it made you healthier.
Yeah, attack speed makes you healthier because you auto attack more, you heal more, and you kite better.
I think double AD is just more consistent. Like, I don't really think you need too much. Like, I don't think you need to worry too much about sustain with Ka, because you've got W, and usually you take Ravenous. So like, I don't know. Personally, I just go for like speed most of the time.
I see. Yeah, I go most times I go double adaptive.
Yeah, and I also, because like, I used to like the attack speed, but it really lowers your damage by a fair amount when you want to go in for just going on fights early game. Like it's not, and I'm saying this as like an attack speed level.
Yeah.
But this is like
big attack speed fan.
It's just really mediocre when you want to try and go in for kills, unless you like, have a lead.
Sure. So
I mean, I guess if you have like, if you're running Conqueror or something, then sure, you can maybe get away with running attack speed, because it kind of helps the playstyle.
Sure. So if we can wrap up, just on like a general closing question, what is the overall state of Kha'Zix in you guys' opinion? If we can start with Gamergirl.
He's a very good solo queue champion. Easy to pick up, hard to, he is like, I'd say it's good if in an environment where you're not you won't be that team dependent, and you should. I don't think it's like a good blind pick anymore. Depend. Like you pick him depending on your team comp as well. But if you're like a solo queue player and you're like Blood Diamond, you should like play him always. Like he's a good solo queue champion. Like he's strong solo queue champion.
Sure.
Like yeah, it's like very. I wouldn't say OP, but he's good.
All right, Max. Max, what is your like closing thoughts on the overall state of Kha'Zix? Do you think he's good? Do you think people should pick him up more?
Yeah, I think what's it called? I think in like I'd say from silver to mid diamond, I think Kha'Zix is top 3 best junglers in the game, and I think from diamond 1 to like challenger, he's definitely like top 5, top 7, maybe top 6. Yeah, I agree. He's hard. Like it's like hard to master, easy to play. I think he's good, but I think people, especially like nowadays, people really have to be less stubborn about Kha'Zix. I feel like there's so many of the OG Kha'Zix players are so stubborn about Q and E evolve being the best, and with how diverse the champion is now, things like R evolve, W evolve are just so good. I think Kha'Zix is transitioning from being an assassin to being a team fighter, and people, stubborn OG Kha'Zix players aren't accepting it, but it just yeah. Sorry. So, but I think it's really good. I think to mid diamond, he's definitely top 3 best junglers in the game. And then once you get the high elo, when you're more team dependent, he's probably top 5, top 6. But I think he's really good right now. Just in high elo, it's kind of hard.
Sure. Tinjus, what is your closing thoughts on the overall state of Kha'Zix? Do you think people should play more?
Well, he's already been playing. He played enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just obviously he's really well-rounded. Yeah, well-rounded is the word I use for Ka right now, because he's so diverse with his evolution and all the keystones and the bruiser build coming back into play, and like, you know, he's just. I think he's good against certain compositions and really fucking awful against team comps that can control him easily. Like some team comps are just ridiculously hard to play against. Like, it's not even funny. But yeah, he is a good jungler right now, I'd say.
But what is this?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Blue SE, are you there?
Yeah.
You liking Kha'Zix here now? What is your like overall thoughts on Kha'Zix in this meta?
I mean,
Yeah.
he jumps around, kills stuff. Pretty nice.
Good talk. Zutter, are you?
Yeah.
Do you think Kha'Zix is good right now?
Yeah, I think
And,
it's
like, what's your overall opinion on him?
a good jungler. Pretty much like everyone else said, easy play, hard master. I think
Okay.
more people should pick him up, and I hear a lot of people say that he's overpowered, but I think he's just pretty strong enough, but not overpowered.
It's actually crazy that people think he's the best.
Yeah.
It's because they're trash players.
Because they're Evelyn main. They're
Like,
probably Evelyn main.
It literally tells you how to play against Ka. You just stand near a tower.
Alright, Zequilla, we'll give you the last word. Some closing thoughts on the overall state of Kha'Zix.
I think he's pretty strong right now. I wouldn't call him the best. He's extremely versatile, but he very clearly has weaknesses. And I think some of the more popular meta junglers right now into the matchup, he does pretty poorly into them, like Elise and Lee. Well, it's 50-50 with Lee, but if you go behind on Kha'Zix against Lee, it's. But yeah, he has very clear weaknesses, and he can be viewed by certain junglers. So I would put him like top 5, but he's in no way, shape, or form the best jungler in the game.
Who's the best jungler in the game?
In
right
my
now?
opinion,
Echo.
in my opinion, it has
Don't
to
say
be
Zach.
It has to be Elise or Echo. Yeah, Elise's early game is just too crazy. Like her dives are just like the way she could dive at level 3 is just crazy. Like the amount of early game pressure she puts on the map is too much.
And
And
you
then
go
her
movies
ult
and have
is
the same
very
person
strong.
to do it.
Exactly.
That is
But-
so balanced.
Yeah, I think if you want to pick up Kha'Zix, he is really fun, and you know if you get good at him, you're really high on the ladder. But good luck. Really high on the ladder because he's banned like 80% of my games.
Sure.
But yeah,
Uh,
pretty strong.
So yeah, thank you guys all for coming. Gamergirl, everyone. Zequilla's first seminar. Really appreciate it, guys. It's very fun talk. Including the Rabaki Swork Boot discussion. Yeah, we'll have a VOD for it on our YouTube channel for everyone watching or who didn't get to tune in from the start. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Remember that you can donate to Extra Life.
Oh yeah,
and
we're
help
doing a charity stream.